Hello everyone, welcome back to Duo Magique. In today's video, we're going to talk about green energy in California. You can also find people joining my free 100-day The Economist Challenge on Weibo, so please come here and join us if you're interested. For more information, please scan the QR code. Businesses compete to battle California's blackout. Right here, blackout is just another way of saying power outages, or if you prefer to use a more British word, power cut would be the one you're looking for. Green companies vie not just to generate power, but also to store and manage it. Right here, the word vie looks like the French word la vie, as you might have heard on La Vie en Rose.
Be close and hold me fast. This magic spell you cast. This is La Vie en Rose. When you kiss me.
Right here, vie just means to compete to. Depending on whom you ask, California is a leader in clean energy, or a cautionary tale. Right here, clean energy is just another way of saying green energy or renewable energy. Cautionary tale means the story serves as a warning. Power outages in August promoted stern critiques, so the word stern means serious. You could also say stern measures to replace draconian measures, as we have seen in earlier articles talking about COVID-19. In California, Donald Trump tweeted, well, he is one of the most famous or notorious Republicans. Democrats have intentionally implemented rolling blackouts, forcing Americans in the dark. To understand why Republicans are pointing fingers at Democrats, we need to be clear of the energy policies of both parties. So for Democrats, they believe it's necessary to support increased domestic renewable energy development, including wind and solar power. However, for Republicans, they say no to Kyoto or other mandatory carbon emission controls. And also, they actually provide tax incentives for energy production, like oil or gas development. Such difference lies bare that there's bound to be some finger pointing between the two parties. In addition to provoking outrage and derision, so derision means mockery or ridicule. However, the episode is also likely to inspire investment. One more thing to know, this rolling blackouts is the first of its kind in 19 years, according to a newly published article on Politico. The Golden State has long been America's main testing ground for green companies. The Golden State right here is California. This state got this official nickname in 1968, and the reasons are twofold. Firstly is because of the discovery of gold in 1848. And another is because the flower, they've got golden poppy, which is the flower of weed. So every spring you could see those golden flowers all across California. So that's why this flower also got the name California poppy. Californians buy half of all electric cars sold in America. Theirs is the country's largest solar market, as California deals with heat waves, fires, and the goal of carbon-free electricity by 2045. The need for a reliable grid is becoming ever more obvious. I'm going to explain these three separately. Number 1, heat wave. So actually last week, the new temperature record has been set in America. I put it in a converter, so it's 47 degrees.
What?
Number 2, fire. How come California has so many wildfires each year? Apparently, people would blame climate change, but then there's people as well. They play an active part in igniting the fire. Then there's other reasons such as the wind and etc. Lastly, this 2045 clean energy goal has set itself against Donald Trump, which is why Trump tweeted against it in the first paragraph. For years, firms competed to generate clean power in California. Now, a growing number are vying to store and manage it too. So vying is the vie that we just saw. August's blackout have many causes, including poor planning, an unexpected lack of capacity, and sweltering heat in not just California, but nearby states from which it sometimes imports power. Sweltering means it's uncomfortably hot. It turns out that California is the biggest energy importer in the whole of the United States. By the way, California, if it were a country, it would be the 5th biggest economy in the whole world. Long before the outages, however, electricity operators were anxious about capacity. In November, state regulators mandated that utilities procure an additional 3.3 gigawatts of capacity, including giant batteries that charge when energy is abundant, which means there's enough of them, and can sell electricity back to the grid. You might notice that we have national grid in China. Too few such projects have come online to cope with the surge in demand for air conditioning in the scorching summer. So come online, which means to become active or operating. Surge means there's a sudden increase in demand for air conditioning. It's not difficult to understand because if you're suffering from sweltering heat in the scorching summer, scorching means extremely hot. Of course you need air conditioning, but more are sprouting across the state. So sprout means when plants start to grow. So in this case, if you say companies are sprouting, it means they're developing very fast. And usually it means there's a lot of them. And later, the author has named LS Power and Vistra Energy as 2 examples. But pay attention to the word unveiled, which means you're revealing something, you're presenting something, you've launched something. The rooftop solar industry stands to benefit from a new California mandate that requires new homes to install panels on their roofs from this year. Stands to used to be a military term, means soldiers are ready to take any action, but right here you could understand it as ready for something. I think the rooftop solar industry is really lucky because when the whole state rectified that new homes have to install panels on their rooftop, they've got a whole lot of orders already. Sunrun, the market leader, is increasingly pairing such residential installations with batteries. What batteries can do is that they could supply power to residents in a blackout or feed power into the grid to help meet peak demand. So yeah, they're really trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone by adding a battery to the installation. Sunrun is so confident in its future that it has bid $3.2 billion for Vivint Solar, its main rival. Bid means to offer a price for something. You could say, oh, it's a good bid. Another way to stave off outages is to curb demand. To stave off means to avert or pause something dangerous. So if the last paragraph was talking about how to increase power supply, this paragraph has moved on to curb demand. This European power company has contracts with local utilities to work with large commercial and industrial clients. When demand rises, Enel pays customers to reduce energy consumption, so this method is called demand response, as we have just mentioned from here. Okay, let's move on. Easing demand on the grid. A company called Connect offers something similar for homeowners. You could also say households. Even as such offerings scale up, which means to increase, the need for reliability means that fossil fuels will not disappear just yet. On September the 1st, California's regulators will vote on whether to delay the retirement of 4 natural gas plants in light of the outages, regarding since something is happening. The state remains intent on blah blah blah. So intent on means you're really committed to do something. The state remains intent on decarbonizing its power system over the next 25 years, but progress may not move in a straight line. So if it's not a straight line, it might fluctuate for a little bit. So it means probably this plan is not going to be, so probably the plan is not going to go well. It's not going to go as smoothly as they thought. But it doesn't matter. I think moving towards green energy is already a very bold and courageous step. So that's for today's video. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give me a thumb up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!